Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we will be racing at Pocono Raceway. Obviously a recap of Hailie Deegan's performance there, as well as my cup race at the Tricky Triangle, a track that I've been pretty decent at in the past. I think last season we had maybe a one top 10 there, and then the first race we got wrecked, so hopefully that doesn't happen again this time around. But as we go into Pocono for Hailie Deegan's first attempt in the Xfinity Series, she would actually have to start in the rear due to an engine change for our car now, so she would start in the 39th position automatically, or right away, making three wide moves going into turn 1. As we came through the center of the corner, she got into the back of the 60 of Ty Majeski just a little bit, but obviously it didn't really affect anyone too much as she came out of turn 1, and she would obviously continue to work her way forwards throughout the rest of this race. And by the time it came to the midway point, she had worked her way into the top 20 position. Now looking on the inside of the 19 of Brandon Jones through turns 1 and 2, or turns 1 as she came out of the corner down the straightaway, battling alongside Jones in the 8. Now she would make it 3 wide heading in towards the tunnel turn, but then by the time it came to the final lap in this race, she would work her way up to the 11th position, coming through the final few corners now in Pocono. She comes out of turn 3, getting sideways on the exit of the corner, running that curb. As she comes out of the turn 3, coming down the front straightaway, she would come across the line and get an 11th place finish after being sent to the rear at the start. So a decent recovery, but obviously not a top 10, so it's not great for our team, but hopefully we can improve our performance just a little bit more. I think that if we want to be a championship contending team, we're going to have to just get a little more speed in the car at some of these tracks that we have been kind of struggling at. So hopefully we can pull that speed or find that speed in the car soon here before the playoffs get going now, as we're slowly creeping in on the playoffs. It's not that far away, as we're kind of heading into the summer months of the season now, as we're kind of in like the boring part of the season. Pocono, Michigan, we go to there a couple times. New Hampshire, those are all pretty boring tracks. So now as we come to qualifying though, in my cup race, we would make it to the third session in qualifying, passing Kyle Busch on the inside, going into turns 3 through the center of the corner, getting ahead of him as we came out of the corner, going down the straightaway. So obviously at least a top 12 starting position as we come through to cross the line. We would set a 50.519, and I would call it there, and we would go P6, so a very solid starting position as we head into Pocono. So let's go see what we can do.
We're coming to you live from Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania for today's running of the Pocono 400. Now this tricky triangle is different than any other track these drivers will encounter all year. There are only 3 turns, each unique in design. Also, the tight turns and relatively low banking will require drivers to do a lot more shifting than the typical 2.5-mile speedway. So nailing the setup of the car is crucial. Which of these teams will unravel the mystery that is Pocono and make their way to victory lane? Well, the green flag is in the air. Let's go find out.
Alright, we are ready to get underway in Pocono. Martin Truex Jr. will start on the pole with Kevin Harvick on the outside front row. So the 2 fastest cars this season start on the front row. No one sent to the back. Once again, these last few races have been pretty clean for drivers starting in the rear. Now as we get ready to start from the 6th starting position in Pocono, the tricky triangle is underway and the green flag is out as Truex and Harvick lead us to the green as we start alongside Ryan Blaney in the 12 and right on the bumper of the 20 of Eric Jones as we head down the long straightaway. One of the longest shots into turn 1 off the start on the schedule now as we head down into turns 1 for the first time. Harvick has the edge going into turn 1, but Truex is going to even out the gap now through the center of the corner as we come out of the first corner. Truex certainly having the edge on Harvick, maybe just a little bit now as we come down the straightaway. A chance to get down to the bottom line, so obviously I hop on that opportunity and get down to the bottom as the 12 moves up the track and we take it 3 wide with him in the 20 as we get past them both, and Denny Hamlin's going to make a move to the lead past Truex and Harvick as they both lose a few positions now as we come into turn 3 on the back bumper of the 78 Truex now as we come out of the 3rd and final corner to come down the front straightaway to complete the first lap. We gain 2 spots on this opening lap here in Pocono now as we're going to go to the inside of Martin Truex Jr. trying to make a move on him going into the first turn. And this is certainly not a very long race. I mean, the stages here are only about 10 laps, so certainly one of the shorter races that we will have as we get sideways going into turn 1, sliding up the track, but we do maintain control control of the car as we exit the corner. And now Blaney, he's going to pull ahead of Martin Truex Jr. as well. And by the time we came to a little bit later on the second lap, we had a chance to pass Kevin Harvick on the inside. So obviously I'm going to take full advantage of that and move to his inside going into turn 3 and now through the center of the corner. He tries to fight back on my outside now as we exit the corner, though we will clear him and move into the second position behind the 11 car, Denny Hamlin. And it was a really tough objective to actually get past this 11 car now as we came to the 4th lap, still right on the back bumper of Denny Hamlin, having a really tough time trying to get past him now as we went into turns 1 and 2, and I just couldn't quite find a way to get past him now as we close right up on his back bumper with a chance though to look to his inside out of turn 1, but now as we come down the straightaway, he will once again clear me, and as we come to lap 9 of 11 in stage 1, still in the same position, still unable to pass the 11 now as we head into turn 1. There's just 3 laps to go in the stage now through the center of the corner. We're going to hit the back of the 11, and Denny Hamlin goes sideways now as we come alongside out of turn 1. And Ryan Blaney's going to make a move to his inside. He's going to come alongside me down the straightaways. Harvick's about to join the party, and he's going to make it 3 wide as we head into the tunnel turn now as we're in the middle of the 3 wide. And I automatically decide we're going to back out of it now and let the 12 go as we come through sideways out of the tunnel turn, trying to keep it off of the 4 of Harvick as we come out of the tunnel turn, still in P3 after making a move for the lead on Denny Hamlin and hitting him in the back bumper, getting him sideways and looking like we might end up stealing the lead. But Hamlin, he's now behind me now as we fell back to 3rd automatically though, looking to the inside of the 4 of Kevin Harvick as we come across the line with 2 to go now in stage 1, trying to close that gap back on Ryan Blaney as we certainly have an interesting battle going on here for the stage victories. It's a 4-car battle into turn 1 as we certainly kind of spiced it up getting into the back of the 11. Not what I meant to do, but unfortunately we did kind of almost take him out, but he's fortunately still going behind us as we approach the white flag in stage 1 as we head now towards the line, closing in on Blaney as we head down the long straightaway into turns 1 on the final lap in stage 1. A chance to maybe get a stage victory if we can get right on his back bumper now as we come through turns 1 and 2. A very bad corner for Blaney, and that's going to allow me to look to his inside as we come out of the first turn, side by side with Ryan Blaney down the straightaway for the stage victory as we're going to give a little bit of a side draft to him, trying to hold him back now as we head into the tunnel turn for the final time in stage 1. Through the tunnel turn, he moves up the track and we stay on the bottom line, and he's going to check up and we will come out of the tunnel turn clear for the lead as Hamlin will battle side by side with the 21 or the 12 down the straightaway as we go into turn 3 for the final time in stage 1 through the center of the corner, hitting the curb now and getting sideways on the exit of the corner, but we do hang on to the spot as we come out of turn 3. Hamlin on my back bumper, but it won't matter. We will win stage 1 and get a playoff point now in Pocono. So a great start to our race in the Tricky Triangle. Certainly that could have went a lot better than having to hit a guy in the bumper and shove him out of the way. But fortunately, Hamlin held on to it, and he's still in second place as we would come to pit road. Obviously, we would take 2 cans of fuel, and I would have to take 4 tires as well. And we would come out as the leader, getting ready to start this second stage from the first position now as we get ready to go green, and the green flag is back out. Stage 2 is underway, and one thing I was a little bit concerned of is I noticed pretty early on that the car was a little bit loose the later we went into a run, and we've had this happen in multiple races this season, and we know how that has ended. It has not ended very well for me, so hopefully it doesn't get too bad now as we head into turns 1, leading over the 12 and the 11 of Blaney and Hamlin as Blaney moves up the track a little bit, pushing Hamlin a little bit wide now as we come down the straightaway, approaching the tunnel turn. Blaney's going to get a run to my inside, and I decided not to really defend it because I thought I would get the position going into the tunnel turn, but I was completely wrong as he would just drive right on by, and so would Kevin Harvick, and Martin Truex Jr. would come through on the inside as well to join him, or them too, now as we went into turn 3 as I sit just in front of the 21 of Paul Menard, who battles alongside with Denny Hamlin now as we lose a bunch of, or really 3 positions on the opening lap here in stage 2 as we come across the line. Harvick looking to take the lead away from Ryan Blaney in the 12 car as we head down into turns 1. And now, as we head into turns 1, closing in on the back of Blaney as we come alongside Martin Truex Jr. through the center of the corner. He would clear me for a moment, but now as we come out of turn 1, Harvick clear for the lead, obviously, as Truex tries to fight back. Now as we get on the back bumper of Ryan Blaney, and we're going to give him a big shove down the straightaway as we head into the tunnel turn, deking down to the bottom as Blaney, he stays up top, and that's going to allow me to get to his inside as we head into turn 3, closing in on the back of Truex in the 78. So certainly we still have a fast car in this race. It's just we didn't have a great first opening lap of stage 2. Now as we come out of turn 3, side by side with Ryan Blaney still, as he's going to give us a little bit of a side draft on me as we come across the line, battling for that third position with 8 to go in stage 2. As we're going to play the same game with him, we're going to side draft him as well as we head into turns 1. If he can side draft me, I can side draft him with no problem through the center of the corner. Now we will clear the 12 of Ryan Blaney for third place. And as we approach about 3 laps to go in stage 2, actually 2 to go, you're going to see I lost quite a bit of time actually getting some damage on the right front of the car as I would hit the wall earlier. It was probably about lap 4 or 5. So it certainly damaged the front end a little bit, and I certainly had fallen off the pace a little bit. Now as Harvick and Truex, they have ran away from myself in the pack as we come down the back straightaway, approaching the white flag in stage 2 this time by as we try to hold off this charging field. We got Paul Menard and Denny Hamlin right on my back bumper now as we come through the tunnel turn, nailing the tunnel turn and putting a little bit of a gap between myself and the cars behind me as we approach turn 3 or just turn 3 as we come to the white flag in stage 2. Now a solid gap between myself and Paul Menard in 4th place as we come out of turns 3. He's closing in on me now as we come down the front straightaway, as we certainly don't seem to have the speed that we had earlier in the race now as we hit the white flag in stage 2. At this point, just trying to hang on to get to this checker flag so I can come into pit road and repair the car. Now as Blaney, he clears Paul Menard going in turns 1 with a power move on his outside as we slide a bit through turns 1. Like I said earlier, I noticed the car was getting a little bit sideways and it was kind of concerning, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be too severe right now. But in the long run on the last stage, it might become a factor, but all we can really do is hope at this point now as we come into the tunnel turn, holding off Ryan Blaney for the moment now as we go a little wide on the exit of the turn, allowing the 12 to stay on my bumper as we approach turn 3 for the final time in stage 2, as Harvick is in position to win the second stage over second place of Martin Truex Jr. as we come through turn 3 for the final time out of the corner. Harvick will win stage 2 and Truex second, and we will come through and we're going to hang on to the third position in the second stage to get 8 points now as Harvick picks up another playoff point as we get ready to start this final stage. And we would obviously take 2 cans of fuel again, 4 tires, and we would repair the car. So we would come in the third position, and we would come out in the 8th position. So obviously not what I wanted, but sometimes we got to make these repairs to keep the speed in the car. So we lost 5 spots. Hopefully it's worth it in the long run. The green flag's back out, and it is only a 13-lap dash to end the race here. This final stage isn't very long now as we are on the back bumper of Joey Logano as we head down into turns 1. Harvick and Truex still your top 2 cars as they started, but Truex, I believe he started on the pole, so it's just a little bit of a swap right now as we come through the center of the corner, getting a little sideways now, getting into the side of the 2 of Keselowski. Immediately that was concerning, knowing I'm already sideways even on 4 fresh tires, or really 2 fresh tires. Actually took 2 tires on the pit stop, which might be a bad idea in the long run, but we needed to keep our track position now as we come through the tunnel turn, looking to the inside of the 22 of Joey Logano, pushing up a bit. Denny Hamlin gets into my left rear just a tad, but fortunately we hang on to the car now as we head into turn 3. Now on the back bumper, Menard going to lately look to his inside, a very late move from myself as we come through turn 3, sideways again, and that was immediately becoming a big concern now as we come down the front straightaway to complete the first lap side by side with Paul Menard as we head down into turns 1, as Harvick leads now over second place of Ryan Blaney as Truex has fallen down the order on this opening lap in the final stage. And as we come through the center of turn 1, you see me getting a little bit sideways now as we exit the corner. And obviously, when the car starts getting loose, it only gets worse as time progresses. And we still have over 10 laps to go in this race. And at a short track is something that's not much. But here, that's probably approximately 7 to 8 minutes at this track as we close in on the back of Truex and hit him on the exit of the tunnel turn. But as we come down the straightaway, obviously that would allow him to pull away, as we gave him a big boost as we went into turn 3, but closing back up on him immediately, looking to Truex's inside as we exit the third corner. Now as Harvick continues to lead, in position to maybe win this race as we come side by side with Truex across the line as we try to take the 6th position away from him with just 11 laps to go in this race. Now as he would clear me going into turns 1, and for a moment I would settle there behind him as I didn't want to pressure him too much as we did get into the back of him and hit him up the track, but he's able to hang on to the spot as we get sideways once again out of turn 1. And by the time we came to lap 33, we would get past the 78 of Truex, but we also got passed by Paul Menard, so we didn't gain any positions in general. Now as we close up on the back of the 21 going into turns 1, as Harvick once again continued to lead this race as we close in on the 21 of Menard as we look to his outside as we exit turn 1. A bit of a power move down the straightaway as we'll use the draft from the 18 to clear him, and we would move in to the 6th position in this race, and we kind of faded out here by the time we came to lap 35, still through the tunnel turn heading into turn 3. A bit of a gap between myself and Kyle Busch now as we start to get really sideways through the center of turn 3, very sideways now as we exit the corner and up the track we going into the wall, and that's going to damage the right front, and that's going to also bring out a caution in this race. And if you've watched my series before, you know the car getting loose is a problem we've been dealing with throughout this whole beginning of the season. It's something that we really need to get rid of, and these next 2 laps are certainly going to be interesting now as we get ready to go green, and the green flag's back out. This is a 2-lap dash now to the end of this race. Kind of my fault, obviously, now as we approach the back bumper of Kyle Busch, and I could have taken a 3 wide and maybe made a 3 wide move into turn 1, but I felt as the way my car was handling, it'd be way too dangerous to do so, as I'm already fearing that we're going to crash at this point now as we come through turns 1 and 2, already sliding through the center of the corner now as we exit turn 1 all the way down to the bottom of the track onto the apron. But fortunately we hang on to the car down the straightaway as we approach the tunnel turn. Hamlin passing me, we fall outside of the top 10 at this point as we approach the tunnel turn side by side with Chase Elliott, with our teammate Kyle Larson, who has not had a good day as he's right on my back bumper now as we make contact with the 9 of Elliott moving down the track, but we come up and save it fortunately as we go 3 wide with our teammate Kyle Larson into turn 3. Now looking to the inside of the 9, starting to slide once again, and this is certainly not good as we move up the track, sliding up the track, trying to stay off of them as we have a crash out of turn 3. Into Bowman we go, and we have a big crash now as he's spinning and we're both spinning into traffic, and up and over we just about go, and now we do go on our side, and that is certainly an interesting moment as we're on the front end of the 13 of Ty Dillon. We would come back down on our wheels and have to come to pit road, and I would have DNF'd there, but I completely forgot about the whole DNFing thing, so we would end up continuing as we would restart in the 39th position as the green flag is back out. And like I said, if you guys have watched my series throughout this season, you know that we've been struggling with the car being loose throughout like the end of these races, and it certainly costed me some valuable points, but fortunately we do have a win to get into the playoffs. But certainly we need to figure out how to kind of resolve this issue. I could go with a tighter setup as we get into the back of the 6th with Trevor Bayne, but I could go with a tighter setup, and that might be what we have to do because we've had some really good efforts in these early on season races, and we've had them completely ruined because of my car just losing grip at the end of this race, because we didn't really have this problem much last season. I think we've had it more this season than we did at all last season, and we're only a handful, we're probably 12 or 13 races in to this season, I believe, now as we head into turn 3, coming to the white flag this time by. I certainly felt bad for taking out Alex Bowman in that situation and my teammate Kyle Larson, and kind of collecting a bunch of other guys now as we come down the straightaway across the line to hit the white flag 3 wide with Danica Patrick. And certainly it had to do with the tire wear, because obviously with the 4 fresh tires the car was automatically or immediately driving better now as we went into turn 1. And as we come through turns 1 for the final time in this race, pulling ahead of the 95 of Kasey Kahne down the straightaway, closing in on the back of the 43 of Bubba Wallace. We're going to make a 3-wide move to his inside as he battles alongside with Chris Buescher now as we approach the tunnel turn, as the 24 of William Byron certainly not having a great run today as he's barely inside the top 30 as we exit the tunnel turn, still side by side with the 43 of Bubba Wallace. But now we come down the straightaway with a big run on the back of the 24. We take him 3 wide with the 31 as we head into turn 3 to move up into 27th as we come through turn 3 for the final time in Pocono. An unfortunate ending to a good race, and as we come down the front straightaway we would come across the line to finish in the 27th position. So certainly 100% my fault with the setup and whatnot, and Kevin Harvick would win this race and get, I believe, win number 2 or 3 for him on the season as Ross Chastain DNF from this race, 34 laps down there, as Paul Menard actually would rally through to get a second place finish. So a great effort by the 21 team now, as we did get a good bunch of money, and that was Kevin Harvick's second win on the season, as he still leads the regular season standings, as Martin Truex Jr. though does lead the playoff standings with his 4 victories on the season now, as we bring home over $800,000. And Alex Bowman, he's not the happiest with me. We apologize. And Denny Hamlin, we apologize to him as well, because I didn't mean to wreck him. And then we got Martin Truex Jr. here, and it's Martin Truex Jr. So obviously, I could have provoked him, but I decided to apologize just to be nice. Now, as the next episode, we will be going to Michigan, a track where I finished second last season, and I forget where else we finished. Maybe we finished second in both races, but I don't think we did. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Those would all be very appreciated, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next episode, like I said, in Michigan. Hopefully we can maybe get our second win of the season there. So thank you for watching this episode, everyone, and have yourselves a great day. I will see you next time.